Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Bailey Van Tassel, garden designer and author. And I wanted to give you guys a behind the scenes tour of the garden because she's almost finished. We just filled up all of our raised beds and I wanted to talk all about the design. I get so many questions about the design. So I'm going to walk you through all of these specifics so you can really get a sense for why I made the choices that I made. Starting out, we have this beautiful stone detail. And the reason I wanted to do this, other than the fact that it looks very like English countryside meets Irish gorgeousness, is it matches some stone on our home. So when you drive up, it really complements our house. And I wanted to use something, it's the exact same stone that's on our house. I contacted our builder, got all the information, but it's a veneer. So it's not real stone. And then I sort of, to save money, got kind of cheap and we didn't do the inside. So you can see the cinder block here, which I would normally never tell anybody. But once this is filled up with plants, it'll just fall away from your eye and you won't see it. So this huge pile of compost is a perennial and cut flower bed. I will have globe artichokes, blueberries. I just picked up some Duke blueberries named after my son. We will have dahlias. These will be some really beautiful, substantial border beds. And I like these to be a little bit more whimsical and wild, sort of cottage gardeny. We'll put some edging in here, but for now, I just wanted to get the dirt down and get it ready to go so that we can plant as needed. Now, all of my pathways are very strategically sized. When you walk into this space, I don't want you to feel suffocated by it. I want there to be this openness. But it also gives a little bit of flexibility. So I could put pots here, more pots with herbs if I wanted to. You could put seeding. I just like it to feel expansive. The very bare minimum for pathways is 3 feet because that's what you need for a wheelbarrow to come through. But these are closer to 6, even 8 in some places. But leading up to this greenhouse, my gorgeous Yoder-built greenhouse, these pathways are matching the width of the doors on the greenhouse. We're very specific about that. I like the main part of the garden to be very tidy with very clean lines with a lot of symmetry. And then, like I said, those borders get to be kind of wild. So I would never recommend a novice gardener create beds that are these sizes, but I really wanted sort of a botanical garden feel. So these beds are 8 by 8. We built them ourselves. They're not perfect, but they're going to get the job done. And the reason you would never normally do something this big is because most people can't reach into the center of the bed. I'm really tall. I'm 5'10", so I can reach it. But it will require sometimes that I loosely step into my beds, which is not that great for soil compaction or for seeds that are in there. But I really like this really broad feel. Normally, I would not recommend that. Moving on to the next recommendation I would normally never make is a raised bed. This is 12 feet long and 4 feet wide. Most of the time when I'm taking on our design clients and people are DIYing their garden beds, I'm telling them to make 4 foot by 8 foot beds. Do you know why? That's because most lumber is milled at an 8 foot length. So it's the most affordable and easy option to manage. And then you just chop one of these boards in half and get your 4 foot edge. But of course I wanted something big and exceptional and difficult to make. So these are 12 feet and we kind of cobbled them together. We'll be adding some seams and some caps onto these, but spring is coming, so I had to get going. Now this is a weird thing. Basically, I was driving down the street and we saw this on the side of the road and picked it up because I think we're gonna have one more frost coming and this is gonna be the first bed that's fully planted out. So I'm actually gonna use this just temporarily for frost cloth, but it's also giving me an idea of structure. This is gonna have a big arch trellis on it eventually, but for now, this is just something temporary where I was like, we need that in the garden, so I scooped it up. Okay, moving through the garden, these beds right here, the central square beds, are gonna have beautiful homemade trellises. In my book, Kitchen Garden Living, I walk you through 4 different trellis types that you can make just using really affordable redwood or cedar stakes like these. These are like 6 foot tall stakes. They're in the ground about 3 or 4 inches, but I just wrapped twine around them. I already sowed some peas. They're gonna tendril up and add some great texture and structure to the garden that are just so beautiful. And the thing I love is these are modular. I can take these apart and make an A-frame bed or do a Florida weave trellis. There's so many options with having these stakes. I always have them on hand, but I also just like making them myself. I think they look really charming and it's just a great garden project. So that's why we have these trellises here. I'm gonna walk you through the rest of the garden. Again, these pathways are all at a minimum 3 feet. Most of mine are 4, because sometimes I will plant things like nasturtium or cucumber that tendril over the edge of the bed or sweep over. And again, they add a little bit of that charm. So you do wanna have some width. Now these beds here, I wanted horizontal and sort of a little bit taller than our 8-inch tall beds. These are 12 inches deep, tall, and I don't think you need anything taller than that unless it's for functionality. All of our root veg, everything is going to do great with these 12-inch deep beds, but behind them here, I'm going to add more compost and we're going to have berries here. So we're just waiting. We're going to hook up more irrigation. I'm just going to use soaker hoses back here. And the reason I'm planting back here in ground is because the fences are lower here than they are at any other point in the garden. I don't like the way deer fences look. I'll be totally honest with you. The 6, 7, 8-foot deer fences are just too much for me. But deer don't like to jump somewhere they don't know that they can land. So I've got to make sure that this space here is filled with something that they will not want to jump into. And that's why we're going to do some berries. I'm going to do a big mock orange shrub here. We've got all sorts of plans, but there's a very specific reason why we are planting this space. So other than that, we have the greenhouse. I have named her Greta. If you've been following along, you kind of know she's Yoder built greenhouse. Legacy model, 12 feet by 20 feet. We've got black trim. She came insulated with electrical hookups. We will do a greenhouse tour on another day, but I just wanted to share how much I love the greenhouse. I've been using the greenhouse since about November. So that is extending my season significantly. Starting all of my seeds in the greenhouse, saving tons of money on seedlings. It basically acts as my potting shed as well. I can store everything in there. It's really just been the greatest addition to the garden experience in general, but ridiculously useful in our climate and in this zone 7. So that is the bulk of the garden. To finish everything up, we will be adding pea gravel for our pathways, which is again sort of a French potager style touch. It will make everything really tidy. I'll choose a cool tone to match the stone, and that will tie everything up really nicely. From there, we're just going to be gardening, planting, trying to keep things alive. And next time you get a full tour, the garden will be thriving and luscious and beautiful. Thanks for joining me.